All right, team, what's up? Happy Thursday. Happy Leadership Thursday. Thank you for joining us on the PT on Ice Daily Show. I am Dr. Jeff Moore, always thrilled to be your host and always pumped to be here on a Gut Check Thursday where I get to announce the workout that we are going to take on over the next couple of days. It is as follows. And it is a shout out to Warrior Wad, our friends over there who have the I Got Your Six competition going on, virtual comp going on this month. And it is a partner workout. So you're going to grab your buddy at the gym. You're going to do the following. You're going to do 21 pull-ups, 15 thrusters, 9 strict handstand push-ups, but you're going to break that up. In every 2 minutes, besides 0, you're going to knock out 5 synchro lateral bar over burpees. So that is going to not 0, but every time the clock hits 2 minutes, you've got to knock out those 5 burpees together and then get back on to your pull-ups, your thrusters, and your strict handstand push-ups. That one is really, really going to hurt. So enjoy that. We've got it posted on Ice Physio's Instagram. Make sure you tag us. We love to see the videos. We love to see all the posts on Gut Check Thursday. As far as courses coming up, I want to highlight the dry needling division. Paul and Ellie and the crew are out there hammering. So looking at upper body, which is comprehensive, the entire upper body that includes lumbar spine. We are looking at July 29th and 30th being in Fort Worth, Texas. That one's going to be a banger. I was looking yesterday. We've got a ton of folks signed up for that one already. And then August 26, 27 down in Phoenix, Arizona. Over on the East Coast, we've got lower body coming up in 2 spots. So 23 through 25, that's our 3-day course in Berryville, Virginia, just outside of Washington, D.C., and then also in Matawan, New Jersey. Also 3-day course, July 14, 15, 16. So if you're looking to get into our dry needling courses, be it comprehensive upper body or lower body, they are firing off all across the country over the next couple of months. So have a look at those. Let's do this. It's Leadership Thursday. There's no greater responsibility than the hiring process. We always tap around different ideas here. The one I want to talk about today is what it can and can't do. And I think it's maybe getting right to the heart of why it's so important, why the saying hire slow, fire fast is so critical to building a great business is really comes down to this reality that I want to acknowledge this morning. And it's a hard one. It's one that people don't want to believe. It's an easy trap to fall into not believing it. Essentially, the trap is this belief that your systems or your culture can shape somebody's character. It's so strong, right? It's so well embedded that somebody coming into it will become different because of it. This is the trap, right? And if you've got a great culture, it's an elusive trap because you look around and it kind of feels like everybody's doing the thing, right? And so you begin to believe that even if somebody isn't a perfect fit, if they become a part of what you're doing, they'll become that. Or at least this level of hubris that your culture is stable enough that if somebody gets on board who's not a perfect fit, your culture won't change. It won't suffer, right? You can tolerate bringing somebody who's malaligned into it, and your culture is stable enough that it won't change. I am here to say this morning, the exact opposite is the reality. Your company will always become who you hire. People will not take on your principles and values. Your average will shift towards theirs. This is an unfortunate, if you're looking at it wrong, certainly uncomfortable reality that our cultures are always vulnerable. They are always going to shift to whoever we bring on board, bring into our ecosystem. Our average is going to nudge towards them. If you're willing to accept that and accept the responsibility that goes along with it, then you can acknowledge that keeping your company on the right trajectory, becoming more of who you want to be, is largely bringing folks on who not only support, but deepen your principles, your alignment, your focus, your mission, your brand pillars. It really, if you're going to shift towards them, if they are directly in alignment, everything is going to deepen. But it is a reality that whatever they bring in, you will nudge in that direction. This is why it's so challenging. Probably the hardest question I get asked, and unfortunately, I get asked it all the time, is how do I get my people to become more X? How do I get my people to become more fitness forward? How do I get my people to become kinder, right? To become more optimistic, to become these characteristics that are so ingrained in a human. How do I get my people to become more X? Team, the only answer to that is to hire people who are more X. This is not negating. It's always hard to give a topic like this on Leadership Thursday. I'm not negating the role of good leadership. I'm not negating the importance of systems, but I am acknowledging that things like habits, principles, values aren't budging a whole lot in grown adults, right? We aren't talking about hiring people in middle school here. We're talking about hiring people who have an entire life of experience in beliefs, in habits, in values behind them. Team, I know your culture's great, but it's probably not going to make a revolutionary shift in those beliefs about a human being in any short order. Think about to make this feel more real. Think about how hard it is with your patients to get them to adopt new behaviors. Even though you're making the best sale in the world, right? You're painting a picture of how it's going to look for them a year out, 2 years, 3 years. How hard is it? It's so hard. It is like the hardest thing ever. It's why a lot of folks don't even jump into lifestyle behavior modification because they know that it's so hard. Think about your family members. How many of your family members have reached out to you, right, with a complaint or a problem, and you identify it's a habit issue, right? It's a belief issue. How challenging is getting that to shift? Even when you're not even hoping it'll passively shift, even when you put all the guns on it, right? And you're like, I'm going to use all of my motivational interview skills. I'm going to do everything that I can to get this to budge. It's hard to get that stuff to budge. Acknowledging that's how it is when somebody comes into your company, it's not just going to passively happen. It's probably not even going to actively happen. With those kind of ingrained characteristics, you're probably not going to get a lot of motion, which means that your company will nudge towards them. They won't nudge towards you. Now, the role of size here is fascinating because this is where the conversation tends to go next. People think, well, that might be true in smaller companies, right? Like if you have a really small company, if you have 2 people and you're an upstart practice, if you hire 2 other people who aren't in line with your value system, yeah, it's going to be a drastic shift towards them, right? Because there's not a lot of weight behind the original mean. Team, the size of the company doesn't matter because the hiring process, the rate of it doesn't tend to be all that different. Now, it's not always that you're adding on people. If a company has 400 people, when they go to 800 people, it's not like they added on 400 people, but there's a lot of attrition, right? A lot of people leave a company that are being replaced. So you're replacing a ton of people and you're adding some people, but team, doubling is doubling, right? I don't care if it's 2 to 4 or 400 to 800 as people move positions. Doubling is doubling. So the effect does not tend to be more drastic in smaller companies. It looks simpler there, but team, it's the same. It's the same effect. When you bring in those malaligned characteristics, the movement of your company's mean is the same. My take-home tip for this morning is to hire based on the immutable characteristics. We can change everything else. We can change almost everything. We can change somebody's skill level, right? That's what mentorship is all about. Like if someone lacks a given skill, well, that's doable, right? With any reasonable training system, we can change skill. We can change geography in most cases, right? Especially now with how dynamic companies are, you can put people in different spots. People can work remote so easily. Expansion's gotten easier and easier because tech is so much more applicable nowadays. You can change someone's pay for sure. You can change the hours they're working, especially when you're bringing other folks on. You can look at schedules. You can toggle that. You can change how much someone travels. Team, you can tweak everything besides character. You can tweak everything besides character. So let that drive your decision making. Let the immutable characteristics, when you're looking at someone sitting in front of you, thinking about coming onto your squad, team, I don't care if this is the next coach you're bringing onto your gym. I don't care if it's the assistant coach for your tennis squad. I don't care if it's your physical therapy company, your teaching company. I don't care what it is. It's always the same. When you're looking at that person and considering bringing them on board, you can ignore a lot of the logistical stuff. You have power there. You can move that lever. What you can't change is character. So try to get an idea for the things that are ingrained in a human that a company probably doesn't have the ability to budge. Are those in line? Because no matter what happens, we know we're going to shift towards you. Are we excited about it or are we dreading it? That's the question you have. Give it some thought. Thanks for being here on Leadership Thursday. Great to see everybody. Crush that partner gut check. I'll see you next week.